Put your hands together
This feeling inside my bones.
for our first Canadian through the finish line today. Many-time Ironman champion and a great race today, Lionel Sanders. That was a fantastic race. What happened out there?
I think that was my best executed Ironman I ever did in terms of there was no blow-ups anywhere. So Joe's just a better man.
He had a great race today. You know, he kept saying, I'm always worried about Lionel and Ben, and Sam went with him on the run. Did you ever think you had a chance of maybe catching him on the run?
0%. No, I was defending the Kona spot for sure. Yep.
Well, congratulations. 2 world championships next year. It's going to be great.
I can't wait, man. I gotta take, that's it for the season for me though. That's enough, that's 4 Ironmans now and I'm getting pretty tired, so.
All right, well, congratulations on your 2nd place win. You beat a very good triathlete there in Ben Hoffman. Lionel Sanders.
Yeah, it was a really good day for me. I think Joe and I kind of made a little tactical error. We lined up on the right side, trying to stay out of the commotion of the swim, and headed out, you know, more into the middle of the water, and the faster swimmers lined up on the left. And I think we missed that pack. We probably would have had a decent shot at making that pack had we lined up with them. And then we were just kind of at the front of that, you know, big chase group, which was not too far down, but, you know, more than I think needed to be, 1:15 down. Swim was easy, really easy actually. There was nowhere to go. I don't have the ability to like try and bridge up to a group a ways up there, so I was just in the thick of it and it was pretty relaxed. And then onto the bike, I was with the guys I needed to be with. I didn't transition super well. In particular, Sam got quite a gap, but I was still with Joe, and those guys went real hard right off the bat, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this to myself, like, and have the potential risk of a blow up. And so I just went nice and controlled. I stayed controlled the whole bike, stayed on top of my nutrition and my hydration. It's my best bike of the year, 298 watts average, and in particular, which was, you know, good for me, was there was absolutely no lull whatsoever. I can literally say I have never done an Ironman bike and not lulled. Usually, you know, I'll average the final hour like 230 or 240 watts and have just a massive drop off. So I know things are going in the right direction because I had no lull and I felt good coming off the bike. And so that was good. I mean, I lost a ton of time, which is still a bit perplexing to me, but you know, things to improve on in the future, riding ability, aerodynamics, and positional changes. I think these are all things that we can work on in the off season. You know, ride with some pros, cyclists, in order to learn to ride a bit better, learn to ride the road a bit better, all areas I think I could improve in. Power, the numbers are good, you know, and they're only going to get better with the training I'm doing and training more appropriately. So, you know, this was a real step in the right direction. So I was happy with the bike. I knew I wasn't going to win. Joe's too good. Like, there's no way you're going to outrun this guy. He's one of the best runners off the bike in an Ironman. So for me, it was more, can I get the Kona spot? Which there was 2 slots available, and Joe already has one. So it was going to go to 2nd and 3rd. So I knew I needed to finish 2nd or 3rd. Had to use the toilet a couple of times. That's one of the, you know, I think lessons to take away from it is my last few races, I've been able to cook my meals and stuff, or a fair amount of my meals, and I haven't had too much stomach problems. And this time, you know, we did the hotel thing and ate out and everything, and I think it was a bit of a shock to the system, and so that sucked. And that, you know, pretty quickly I think I was a minute and a half ahead of Cody off the bike, and I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes ahead of Ben off the bike. And I gave a bit of that time back in the initial stages, and then Cody caught me pretty quickly. And we ran together for a second, and he was like, oh, we should run together. And I was like, you're running a lot faster than I'm running. You go ahead. And so now I'm in 3rd, and I'm like, don't know where Ben is. And then finally he caught me, I'd say around like mile 8 or something. And once again, he was moving pretty quick, and I let him go, and I was like, okay, well, that's that for the Kona spot. Going to be doing another Ironman next year. And, but then, I don't know. Just, never count yourself out, I think, is a lesson. Because, I had executed really, really well, and I had stayed on top of nutrition and hydration, and those guys both passed me, but then they stopped really moving a lot as quick as they were moving, and I kept moving the same speed. And so then on an uphill, I caught back up to Ben at about, mile 10 or 11. We ran side by side together, and then could see Cody slowly coming back, and we weren't increasing the speed. So, eventually we caught him, I would say, around mile 14. And so now the three of us are together. And then I just now I'm like, okay, well, now you have a reel. I can tell from breathing and everything that you're probably in the best shape right now, physically or whatever. And so it really became, what kind of a tactical play do you want to do here? And so I went to the front, I would say around mile 15 of our 3-man pack, and I pushed the pace for a mile or 2 miles, and that strung it out, and Cody started to fall off the back. And so then I went kind of more into defend the Kona spot mode, and just stayed controlled, stayed on top, kept taking salt. And then I saw the opportunity to try and finish second. And so then I put in another kind of little moderate surge, and that was enough to open it up on Ben. And it was good. It was execution-wise, my muscles functioned all the way to the finish. Mentally, I was there all the way to the finish. By far, it's the best run I've ever done in terms of execution. I had absolutely no blow up. In fact, I think I negative splitted the run, which I've never been anywhere near a negative split in an Ironman run. And so you add that to the bike, and I would say it's probably my best all-around performance. I mean, it's 8 minutes off Joe, which is a bit humbling, but I do believe I can lessen that gap and be more in the thick of it with a good off-season spent, continuing to improve in various departments. And so I'm happy that finally, after 3 years or 4 years or whatever, I'm not going to have to do an Ironman next year to get a Kona spot. I'm actually going to be able to just do when I did my best racing, do a lot of 70.3s, focus on getting fast, and just do world champs at Ironmans. And now I have a much better sense of what I need to do nutritionally, pacing-wise, training-wise, in order to be competitive. And therefore, I would say 2021, the Ironman year, was a success.
We briefly heard you say in the post-race interview on the live stream that you were no longer going to race California. We know you made that decision really quick after an Ironman. Were you emotional? Is that why you made that decision, or why don't you go to California?
I just feel like there's no need for me to go there because I'm not competitive right now. I feel like I need to do some work behind the scenes to be competitive. Power's numbers are pretty good. I think there's more to be had, but their numbers are good, and I'm not riding well. And this is the lowest reading power meter I've ever had, and I've compared it to my other meters, and so I am riding very good power, and I'm not going anywhere. And so, that has to be diagnosed and solved. And so it's better for me to do that. I'm at a point now where I don't really have to do races. I love to race, but I'm not going to just race for the sake of racing. I want to be competitive, and I'm not competitive right now. It's 2 races in a row where I am not even in the thick of it. I'm not really, against Joe, I truly am not even in the ballpark. And that's not fun, when you're an athlete and you want to be competitive, and deep inside you're like, I can be competitive. I know why it's there. And you're not. It's not that fun, It's kind of like you're just kind of going through the motions. That's why I had to have kind of intrinsic goals through this race, pre-created for myself in the event that this happened, so that it was a win for me, and it was a win. The way I executed this race was a win for me. And when I think when it all comes together and I figure everything out, I think I can be competitive. And so I have, with the May World Champs in St. George, I don't think there could be any better opportunity for me to be competitive in World Champs. And so, and I love that course. I love that place. I've raced well there. And so I'm just going to go away and become better, particularly technically and aerodynamically and power-wise, and continue to hone my run and continue to get better at swimming. And so that's what we're going to do.
Earlier this year, you said your one of your main focuses was definitely Kona and 70.3 World Championship because it was in St. George. And then we saw you do Coeur d'Alene, and your goals kind of changed. That you said, then it was the Ironman year, and you want to do as many Ironmans as you can. Why are you stopping now? You have one more Ironman to go, and if you're going to go test out those other things, will we see you in a wind tunnel? Will we see you changing your bike fit? What will we see you be doing?
I have a team now whom I listen to, and so I mean, me personally, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to hand it off to people that I trust, who are professionals. So I have a coach who is going to, you know, continue to write a good training and to continue to help me to improve. And then I have Ivan O'Gorman, who's going to help me to continue to hone my position, my equipment choices, and those are the big ones. And then I think I'm going to go out and ride with some pros. I don't know who. I think maybe Cam Wharf is coming back to town soon, and so I think I might go do some riding with him, learn to ride the bike a bit better. There's a lot of pros who come through Tucson. I'd love to meet up and do some riding with them and just learn the ins and outs. I think I'm at a point where power, the numbers are on the level of all my competitors, but the speed is not. And I think that's fortunate. It would really suck if the power was not world class, because that's a little more difficult, I think, to improve. Not to say that I'm content with 300 watts for an Ironman. I would like 320, but speed, now that can be fixed, certainly. And so that it's more valuable for me to do these things right now than to keep racing in these kinds of things.
And to answer the Ironman question, you said all year long, or since Coeur d'Alene, that this is the Ironman year. This is the Ironman year. Did you check that box? Do you feel like you fully executed a race that you planned to this weekend?
100%. Yeah, I checked that box entirely. I had a good swim where I needed to swim. I had no lull on the bike and averaged just under 300 watts, which, like I said, I'm going to get that power up even more, but that's very good. And then I ran well with a negative split, 245, on a pretty hard course. Had I not gone to the toilet, you know what I mean, I'd have been in contention anyway with Joe on the run aspect of things. So the bike is the one that I feel actually most confident in that I could improve, because I used to ride quite well against my competitors, and now I seem to not be riding well, and so I feel like that's a very fixable thing. So yes, it was a great, I think I got everything I wanted to out of this year.
What does the next month and a half, 2 months look like for you now?
I couldn't answer that question at the moment. I don't write the training. I'm not in charge of most things, you know, I'm just an athlete, and it's taken me 10 years to get to this point where I trust other people to help and to provide their expertise, but I'm just going to listen, and it's working. I believe in the process, and so, you know, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks very easy, and then we'll probably have a couple of weeks starting to build back in, and then we'll get into the thick of it probably in November or December. And I wouldn't mind doing one more race this year, a Rust Buster, something in December. And yeah, that's all I can really say on that topic. I used to be able to tell you everything I'm going to do for the next 6 months because I wrote all the training. I did I did most of the thinking. And that's cool, you know, there's no problem with that whatsoever, but I feel like I kind of exhausted how far I could go with that. I think it's time to employ people who are experts in their various fields to do the thinking, and just allow me more time and energy to devote to executing their expert thinking. And so that's what I intend to do, and I intend to get to St. George World Champs competitive with the best guys in the world.
Also too, we'll do a more formal video and announcement, but you had 2 new sponsors on your kit. Talk to us a little bit about how that kind of came about in kind of a brief statement.
Well, Lululemon I've been wearing for like 5 years now after you introduced me to them, and I love them. And so I'm very fortunate and grateful to have a partnership with them, and I love the stuff. Literally all I wear is Lululemon. I refuse to wear anything else. And then Discord came about because, you know, I like engaging with people, and the problem is I think a lot of the outlets out there are quite toxic, and it's bad for me mentally. And I like Discord because it is much more of a controlled environment where we can sort of moderate things and not have negativity. I'm all for criticism, positive and constructive criticism, no problem. Negativity and trolling and just downright mean people has turned me off of various social media outlets. And so I'm excited to partner with Discord and take back my social media and have control over how I interact with the world and how the world interacts with me. And so, you know, that's coming down the pipe. We're still kind of developing that, but you know, stay tuned for, I think, something you're going to really enjoy. You're going to find very engaging, motivating, and positive, and a place to have, you know, discussion and debate, but not with all the, quite frankly, jerks who, you know, attack you personally and say mean things because they're trolls and stuff. We're going to get rid of that stuff. I just don't have time for that. You know, this world has enough negativity in it. Let's be positive and let's help each other be better people and athletes and whatever else we accomplish.
So,
yeah, I appreciate everyone following along this season. There was some ups, there was a lot of downs. It was, you know, it started off really good. That battle in St. George was, you know, I was like, oh damn, this is going to be a great season. And then literally the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in CDA. And, you know, you see, I think this season really showed just how life is just a roller coaster. You're going up and down, you're going with the flow, and you got to adapt. And you got to learn your lessons. And I think this was a great example of that. And how you have to sort of, you know, roll with the punches, I guess. And so I appreciate everyone following along and continuing to believe. And, you know, I appreciate the opportunity from Ironman and all the various organizers we have in the game right now who are, you know, trying to do a good job for the professionals to allow us to express ourselves. And it's great times ahead. I'm excited for it. We're in, I think, like a golden era, a real, you know, game-changing era for the sport of triathlon. I'm excited to be part of it.